Good morning, everybody. HM Cragg welcomes you to the second in our series of Tripp Lite webinars. I'm Scott Missling, HM Craig's sales manager for the North Central region. Also on the call today is Doug Lust. He handles the Great Lakes and East regions. Our guest presenter today is Jim Kupiec, sales manager for Tripp Lite. He has been with Tripp Lite for 20 plus years and is an excellent resource for all of us to learn how to incorporate Tripp Lite into our projects. HM Cragg is a stocking distributor for Tripp Lite. We have their racks, KVMs, cables, and other products already in inventory on our shelves ready to ship. The purpose of our visit today is to get a bit more granular into the single phase UPSs and micro data centers. And if you have a project that needs to get thinner on price, we can also work with you on those kind of things, and we'll touch a bit on that as well. So, or if Eaton does not have stock, we encourage you to absolutely take a look at the Tripp Lite product line, as they may have an option that will work for your project as well. And that's why we're here today. If you, everybody will be muted throughout the presentation. After Jim has finished, we will open the phones to take questions. You will need to unmute yourself at that point to speak. But with that in mind, I'm going to turn things over to Jim, and here we go.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, guys, and appreciate the time today. I know you guys are busy. I try to make this short and complete as possible. But the idea behind this training is basically to familiarize you with Tripp Lite, how we work from a solutions team standpoint, as well as our single phase product line of UPS systems. I understand you guys have done prior trainings before with us. So basically just making sure that you guys understand from a perspective of who we are, what we do, and how we act. So from Tripp Lite side of things, we basically work on a perspective of Tripp Lite Eaton now. And Tripp Lite joined the Eaton team as of March 2021. We've been a long premier name in backup power management, and the acquisition of Tripp Lite transforms Eaton's distributed infrastructure and connectivity equipment sales. Combining our product strengths and expert personnel allows us to be comprehensive and offer innovative solutions for critical power and digital applications backed up by quality service support you can trust. What that means to me is we're engaging and enhancing our product lines to be able to introduce more product pieces to you guys, to the team members, etc. And as a result, I think more products mean more capabilities. So this kind of teaming together process is only going to help in the long run of things. But our objective today is basically to make sure that we understand how to leverage Tripp Lite solutions with HM Cragg team and how to help you close a deal, quick view the types of applications from a single phase UPS fit systems, and how to profile the opportunity, ask quick, right questions when it comes down to it, the importance of the UPS management, how to find those opportunities, and importance of getting to the solutions team and getting us involved in these. So just a little bit quick about our team. Basically, we serve as a highly qualified subject matter experts called upon to configure solutions for a wide range of applications. At Tripp Lite by Eaton, we believe that our core strength is combining the UPS application versatility with our typical or even required accessory pieces. This addresses your client's full application solution needs, and if needed, provides a high base level of product understanding and usage. What this means to you guys is basically that we have the ability of not just spraying to one specific field or one specific UPS system design, etc., or any product design. We are familiar with all our different product lines, and we have different tier groups to be able to address any needs, situations, scenarios, on-sites, etc. Okay. Providing our value basically is just about what we were talking earlier. How we review and profile those sales opportunities, demonstrate how cutting edge solutions solve specific problems, provide dedicated application expertise, organizational support, design and present solutions to the customer. We go through the complete rigmarole of the pre-sales experience. I've found personally, while you can do emails and we can certainly address any quick comparable situations and we can get you stuff in a timely manner, if we get more dedicated or involved, a 15-minute call with your client is worth 3 days worth of emails back and forth by anybody at this exchange. And again, free IT infrastructure assessments, we define the objectives, we identify the problem areas, we review the requirements and recommend the solutions and end to make sure that we're a good end-to-end provider from the data center aspect. Knowing that we just have, if we just had UPS systems, it would be just part of the trade. But when the customer asks for a UPS system, we're usually asking you guys, hey, if there's a rack that goes into it or a KVM that's talking to the servers or any other parts or pieces when we're in that call to kind of auto discover from that standpoint. And just some quick stats. So our inbound basically is a call into tripplite.com, UPS applications. I want you guys to be able to route these freely to your HM Cragg partners and work with them to be able to get satisfactory level of customer product satisfaction that they're looking for. But you get an idea here. We have 3 different tier team groups. Tier 1 basically is the hounders. They take all the inbound email solutions, take a lot of calls. Tier 2 basically works larger scale, mid-scale opportunities such as myself. And then the tier 3 group that basically works the higher end, million plus, 250Ks, etc. But this just gives you an idea of why we're successful. Tripp Lite before Eaton was a company that basically we couldn't allow ourselves to make mistakes. So RMA was a bad word, and it still is to this degree. And we've had 20 record years, I think now, of growth with our patterns, and it shows to our success. We've reduced our RMA process exponentially just by simply getting involved with the customer and the clientele base. Just a quick question or a format. Some of these questions come in really easy. Can you give me a price on an SU3000? Can you give me a rack system that's a 42U, this, that, and the other, right? I want you guys, if possible, to look in situations and just ask yourself a quick 5W situation or scenario. Who's the end user? What do they do? Just a quick assessment of knowing what kind of business, facility, have different types of certification levels or requirements, runtime, but past profiles and familiarity with our projects, certifications, requirements. This adds common core value to the customer conversation and in the overall data center needs. What is the application? So are we talking about, a large data center opportunity? Are we talking about small scale cash registers, et cetera? Are we talking about, dimensional values of a UPS size wise? We need to know, these details in order to make sure that we vet these solutions for you guys properly and get to the customer exactly what they're looking for. Where, how will the products be used, right? Where is there a certain room, location, temperature need, requirements, UL listings, certifications involved in those? When will the client needs the solution in hand? That's another question of, making sure that we get the proper product in hand on time, tested, et cetera. And again, basically, what was the original ask? Why do they need what they need? What are they talking about as far as an application? What's their problem area, right? All mission critical UPS equipment needs a UPS system. And you guys are familiar with all this list before. You've seen them again and again. We got to protect our servers, our switches, our firewalls, et cetera, stuff like that. All these parts and pieces kind of make up the bigger part or portion of what a UPS system will provide. And then if we know more about their application themselves, if we know that it's, for example, a server application where it's backing up a bunch of servers, we can allow to offer a KVM solution to be able to talk to the servers or a rack to house it in or anything else. But these deals kind of expand upon themselves, and by no, push or admission to our side of things. We don't want to upsell. We want to get them the right situation the first time. So just talking about a little bit about UPSs and topology, et cetera. Single phase UPS systems, we can take it down to a 350 VA level all the way to about a 20 kVA level maximum, right? And smaller systems generally are leaning in the area of this standby or line interactive UPS type solutions. So if you look at desktop PCs, if you look at cash register stations, if you're looking at just basically small runtime scenario UPS systems, non-remote management, et cetera, you're probably playing mostly in the standby and some in the line interactive, lower range. Everything 1500 VA and under is going to be a standard plug UPS system. And I think that's important to just stress again, is the fact that size-wise to power-wise on the wall is a common conversation that we have with your customers. And usually that's something that we want to make sure that is uncovered, especially if we're talking about a larger grade UPS system, okay? For this type of line interactive to online UPS system, you can notice where we're checking boxes more in terms of additionals like automatic voltage regulation, online double conversion, etc. And again, we'll have a Q&A session afterwards. So guys, if there's questions about topology of UPS and types and stuff like that, I can certainly address those too. But the main idea here is we cover a wide range of UPS systems for computer grade power necessities. Most people know single phase over 3-phase. They're more familiar with it. I've seen many applications where I built a 10 kVA UPS all to get to 120 volt power just because that's what people are most familiar with, right? So it basically is, it takes a little bit of working between the customer and understanding what their power needs are, what power they have available on site to be able to determine exactly what is the best UPS system for the buck. Additionally, I just wanted to kind of share with you guys some of our more common success stories in the single phase arena. And I think medical HG is good one to start with at this point. But it's easy to see that there's an end result of a success story, but it's not easy to find out exactly how you get there in the first place. This is one that just came into us as a standard UPS application, a Tripp Lite inbox. The customer came in originally and they were looking at an international solution for a medical HG cart system. It came to be that basically we vetted out that it was a 120 volt solution and not a 230 volt solution. So we found out that, we vetted it, we got them the proper HG part number, product, etc. We got it tested and vetted. But you can easily imagine if this would have came over sight unseen and we quoted these units, which were in excess of about 500, I believe, if they would have received the 230 volt unit, the chaos and confusion that would have ensued and everything involving that. So this was a good spot check, quick fix for us, and as a result, it was a good win for Tripp Lite as a whole. Another one of these was our big box home decor retail chain. We don't emphasize the customers themselves, but the idea behind this was originally it was an incumbent APC UPS project from a vendor, and we came in looking at the project from a standpoint of how much PoE that they were using for their switches. We got to the customer level. We were able to find out that they were only using about half the related PoE power. So we were able to downsize them to a 750 VA UPS instead of the 1500 incumbent. And while we were at it, we were actually able to be bringing in additional product pieces, which is the rack system, the the switch gear, the patch panels, everything associated to the internal mechanisms of those switch gear setups. Okay. But yeah, it's an incumbent system. When you come in with these types of deals where, it's really important because you really have to change a customer's mind. Sometimes they're dead set on a vendor and it's really difficult to change that. We can help you change these opportunities and befit them to be a more Tripp Lite associated opportunity in general, get more familiar with the customer and know that they're in a better place or position just than throwing random part numbers in the air. And this was the end result of it, actually. We took that big box and basically converted them into a SRW 12US wall mount rack solution. We took our 750 RM1UN, fits nice into that rack system, offered additional fan kits, patch panels, etc. A complete solution, really, from that standpoint, from a box IDF standpoint situation. And while we were at it, we found that there was a need for cash register solutions for them as well. So we ended up throwing in an additional, I think it was 1,000 locations of our Echo 1300 LCD UPS system for those. This was one of my personal favorites in all honesty, because everybody I know is fun with government RFQs, Q&A, etc., stuff like that. This was one that I personally reached out to our reseller to get engaged and get a call with the customer. And government, it's impossible. So we did some Q&A research, submitted some questions specific to what I had, and not only were we able to flip it from a different vendor to a Tripp Lite UPS, which was a lithium-ion UPS system, but we also won the KVM portion opportunity to go along with this. So just a good testimony to kind of make you guys understand from Tripp Lite side of things what we're looking at as far as trying to be able to promote better business, get involved with your customers. Okay. And just a quick review on UPS systems. We are computer grade UPS systems from Tripp Lite. So we're really not meant for any kind of a compressor inrush associated to those types of aspects. We can cover products from a surge aspect or even some line conditioning, but with the UPS system topology that we're dealing with at this point, these types of devices that can have high inrush are no-nos, for lack of a better term. You don't want to get involved in this type of a system because these UPSs can generally wear down sooner rather than later if they're put on. And I'm talking about medical carts, medical refrigerators, compressor systems. These are the types that we're going to defer over to Eaton to be able to satisfy from a UPS power perspective. Okay. One of the last things I'm going to approach here is our MDC UPS. Our MDCs are a core of our power protection solutions. It's just been recently added within the last year plus. It makes it a nice, easy approach for customers, especially if you know where you land at as far as a wattage load related to the customer's power consumption of the switchgear setups, if we need certain rack spaces to be involved in these. So this is kind of an example. It's basically a kitted UPS system solution that can be anything from 1500 VA all the way to a 10 kVA product setup, okay? But the point is here is this is ready-made. This is prefab. This can be shipped out to your customer just like it looks right now. They can add their equipment as need be or have somebody else add it in for them, ship it out. It's a show and go UPS more than anything else. So if we know what our parameters are ahead of time, we can get a prefabbed UPS solution complete with racks, PDUs, etc., and an accoutrement of customization for that customer to be able to work with as far as the design is concerned. And from there, it's pretty much just adding their servers, switches, whatever it is. But these are form fitting. Like I said, it's a data center in a box. It covers that wide array of voltage, various side rack space solutions available, ships complete to the customer. It's that edge solution made easy from those aspects. So 1.5 kVA, 3 kVA, 6 kVA, that's where we get into the 208 volt perspective, 10 kVA level, etc. And we do some 20 kVA modification levels to this size unit as well. But the best thing about it is it's a quick, easy solution. When you go to our MDC designer solutions and tripplite.com, we can walk our customers through these individually and be able to kind of assess the data center requirements of what their product parts, pieces are, etc., right? But the idea behind this is please contact your HM Cragg rep and get us involved in these opportunities. If you hear the words MDC or micro data center, this is exactly what they're talking about. It's a form factor fitted data center in a box, basically. So in all this is a key takeaway. Tripp Lite by Eaton helps you leverage multiple product applications for your client. We have a dedicated sales team of professionals with 15 plus years of experience. Proven knowledge, expertise, and advisement. Tripp Lite by Eaton can be your customer's team end-to-end data center provider, and this is really the important part. Contact your HM Cragg rep today for the customer assessment. What I want to kind of relay to you is what a typical design or scenario from this standpoint. We get a lot of emails. I deal with myself about 20 to 30 of them a day, not personal, just inbound calls, etc. And all of them revolve around the experience of I need this, I need this, I need this, right? And from an aspect of single phase and UPS system design, which is kind of my bread and butter, I can tell you 50% of the projects that come into me may not have customer eyes on them in terms of power requirements to a UPS, simplified things that you think are rather easy. And 50% of those projects likely get changed or altered to some state of form to be able to better satisfy the customer's requirements. Most of these things are basically pre-spec'd out. For example, you get a 4-switch PoE application, and you find out that those switches can draw up to 840 watts a piece. So a 5,000 VA gets booked for that UPS system. Do they know the 208 volt 30 amp lead? Do they know the power needs for that UPS system? Do they need that much power in the first place? Are they really running that much PoE? What we're really trying to do is get down to a brass tack level And we don't want to do this with everything. We get that you're busy, guys. We understand quick comparables and we can get you everything that you need. But as far as getting down to the nitty gritty and as a byproduct, getting bid registration product pricing, if we get down to the customer level with you guys, chances are those deals expand tenfold, and we can only help benefit that overall situation for your clientele. So we do everything with the exception of the server. We've got PoE switches, KVMs, devices that lead from one to another, etc. In general, that's what we're really looking to do, is expand these deals, expand this process for you guys, and hopefully convert and change everybody from whatever other vendor to a Tripp Lite Eaton customer one at a time. And at this point, I can open up to any questions, Q&A session. I think we got a little extra time here, so if there's anything that you guys want to post into the chat, Jim Roth and myself are fully available to discuss.
Thanks, Jim. Doug Lust here, HM Cragg. Like Jim said, the phones are unmuted if you have any questions. And while we're waiting for questions, Jim, one thing, if you could answer for me, I know on the micro data centers, the racks, like you were speaking about, one of the things I think Eaton is missing the boat on a lot is air conditioning. Can you talk about the different sizes of air conditioner units that go inside of these micro center racks?
Sure, absolutely. So we do a different range of cooling products. We had an SR Cool 12K, which is is a standalone 12,000 BTU cooling unit. It only uses a standard 110 15 amp outlet from a power perspective, which is really good for cooling. It's a blow-by cooler compressor system that blows into the rack system. Now we also offer a 7,000 BTU internal cooling rack unit called the SR Cool 7K RM. That unit is basically meant as a 5,000 to 6,000 BTU per rack cooling solution. We offer the ducting that goes along with that to exhaust the heat, humidity process to those, and even temperature, humidity sensors, as well as remote monitoring and management of those cooling systems. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's an option that Eaton doesn't currently have, and those options you have there with Tripp Lite are certainly interesting.
Beautiful. Yeah, both of those work on 120. And again, we have higher scale units as well, 18,000 BTU, 24,000 BTU that are more along the lines of those standalone units. We can get more familiar with products, accessories. Please, if there's anything in particular, a field or a relation of a product line that you guys want to look into more down in the future, I'd be more than happy to expand upon it or have one of my team members do so.
Great. Thanks, Jim.
Hey guys, this is Jim Roth. I'm gonna jump in, and I don't know how many of you guys were on the training that we did last week. That, quite honestly, we did a focus away from the power. The one thing I just want to add to our stuff is we're in different markets than Eaton, especially on the low end of things in the retail world, in the school world. I think that's where we're going to be effective on a lot of the UPSs. But quite honestly, back to the cooling thing, it is brand new to Eaton. My challenge to you guys is to bring us applications that we don't see right now. We actually have a 7K unit, which is more like the typical industrial McLean or Fanucberg AC, that we would love to get applications that we are not in now. And again, to your point, Doug, this is a product that Eaton doesn't have. You know, we feel like the strengths that we add here really are our frames, our enclosures, the cooling, our connectivity with all the cables and wires you will ever need for switches. You know, that's really where we think we're going to be successful. But Tripp Lite is out there a lot, so you guys will run into it. We see a ton of opportunities coming. Thank you very much. We have a couple of registrations going on through. We would love to see more of those applications. But to Jim's point, we just want to help you guys close business. The closer we can get to your customer, the better off we are. We're a little bit different in Eaton with the registration program, and we're hoping to get that in line, because the last thing we want to do is be tougher for you guys to do business with. But we're excited about this. And again, thank you for being here today. And do you have any other questions?
Yeah, hi, this is Carl along with Peak Power.
Hi,
What
Carl.
can you tell me? What can you tell me about state contracts? Are you guys going to include Eaton product on the state contract? And also, how do we get an Eaton alternative, a Tripp Lite alternative to a specified Eaton product?
Hey, Jim, could you possibly pull up our website and go right to that? Because I think it's one of the best things that we have, is we actually have a customer comparison right on our website. Would you be able to do that, Jim, or do we just give it out?
Are you talking about just a product comparable, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah, well,
competition cross,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
down at the
Let
very
me
end of our.
let me give you the reason I'm asking. We have a job which is in design for the Bronx DA, and right now we've specified 2 12 kW blade ups. However, those are not on state contract as far as I know. So I've got to go to a reseller who holds a contract, and I've got to give up 40% of my commission to him to do that. So if Tripp Lite has a product that is on state contract that I can offer in lieu of that, that's what I prefer to do.
Okay.
So can you see my screen here, guys, at all? Competitor cross-reference, right?
Yeah.
So anything from a Tripp Lite perspective off of the website itself, power is where you want to go to for your UPS, PDU, charging, surge, etc. If you go down further at the bottom of the website here, it says competitor cross-reference, okay? From here, you can actually click in and let's try to give you a little bit more. SMT 1500.
Actually, we need to have the Eaton part numbers. We did it last.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, if you
Eaton
have the
part numbers that you guys are running into problems with.
another thing too to make sure that I understand is every UPS, especially when we get into the larger scale systems like you're talking about here, the 12K, the 6, the 5s, etc. All those have different type of output designs, whether they could be hardwired, voltage wise, could include only 208 or 120 and 208. So it's always important to get a full part number, comparable or comparison option. What the customer is trying to use is just as important, if not more in those cases. So we don't try to take these as much at face value. I mean, obviously, if you're talking about, a bunch of SMT 1500s like we're showing here, you have a plethora of different options to be able to offer the customer in those lines. But making sure that we get down to the nitty gritty in terms of the connection type setups and everything, and we're paralleling that UPS or bettering it at that point is the optimal. So please feel free to send those into, our Synergy inbox and get them into the team so that we can actually look at a cross comparison model and give you kind of specs for and against, if you get me.
So
how do I negotiate the state contract with you guys? Is that through Eaton? Is that through you guys?
Well, we are putting you now. I don't understand that. I don't know if the government contract is what you're talking about, because we are in the process of putting all of HM Cragg under that. Is that specifically what you're talking about, or is there something different?
It'd be the New York State OGS contract.
Could you do me a favor and just send me something to that effect? This is Jim Roth.
Sure. Yeah.
And I will run that up our flagpole.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
You got it.
Thanks for that question, Carl. Good to hear from you. We're running about 11:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 Central Time. Any more questions that we can answer for you? All right. Well, let's go ahead and shut her down. Thanks for attending. Thanks for the gyms that were presenting the information. Again, as Scott opened up with, we are a stocking distributor of Tripp Lite. We have Tripp Lite product on our shelves ready to go. As usual, as you ask for quotes and pricing to your local folks here at HM Cragg, in the East, of course, Gene Abraham, in the North Central, Nick Torkelson and Scott Missling, those guys can get you pricing and answer any questions on Tripp Lite. We've been doing this a couple months now, starting to get a lot more comfortable with it, and we're actually starting to move products. So again, thank you for attending. We appreciate your time and your interest in Tripp Lite. Thanks.